To solve for x for these quadratic equations, we're just going to apply the quadratic formula. And to do that, we need to make sure we can identify the a, b, and c. Okay, so the a coefficient is going to be the coefficient in front of the x squared, which is going to be 3a. Okay, so our equation is solving for x. So because it's a quadratic in terms of x, so x squared, x, and a constant, this can fit the quadratic formula. But again, we have to make sure that we're clear on what the constants are for a, what the term for b is. It's going to be 2. And for c, although there's a variable, we still need to account for that as the constant value, negative 6a. Okay, so although there's a's in it, we can still clearly see that that's a coefficient on x squared, the 2 is a coefficient on x, and the negative 6a is everything else. So once we've done that, we're going to plug this into the quadratic formula. So we end up with negative 2 plus minus the square root of b squared, so we're going to get 4 minus 4 times a. Now a in this case, okay, there's our a value. So a is going to be 3a. And our c value is going to be that value there. So that's what's going to go in here. So we're going to put negative 6a for that term. And that's all over the denominator, 2 times 3a. Okay, and again, that 3a represents the a term in the quadratic formula. Okay, so now we've got our answer. We now need to simplify this. We need to simplify this expression. I'm going to end up with negative 2 plus minus. Now we can only combine like terms, so we can end up with 4 minus the negative is going to give me the plus in here. 4 times 3 times 6 is going to be 72. And then we end up with a squared. In the denominator, we end up with 6a. Okay, since the squared is part of a plus, we cannot square root that. We can only square root this expression if there's factors or multipliers that are perfect squares. Now, for now, this is okay, but if it's asked to simplify this radical, then we need to make sure we take out the perfect square out of the square root. So although that is the correct answer, it's not its simplified form. So we need to go negative 2 plus minus. And in order to do anything with radicals, we need to have multipliers. So we need to factor. So I'm going to factor the 4 out. And I end up with 18a squared. That a squared again is not a factor, so I cannot square root it. But now that I have a times by 4, I can square root that 4. So in its simplest form then, it becomes 2 plus minus 2 square root 1 plus 18a squared. I can't do anything inside that radical anymore. But I can simplify the fraction into negative 1 plus minus square root 1 plus 18a squared all over 3a. And what I've done is I've taken out the common factor of 2 from the numerator and denominator.